beautiful Southern California, visit Best Buy. Check out their TVs on 10,000 for the second shutter speed. Let's see if they're going to let us in. Hey, I wanted to check out some high-def sets. Is it okay if I bring in my camera?
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. I'm going to go to a slightly lower shutter speed so we can get some good light here.
She plays guitar, so when I told her that...
One of the first sets we want to check out here is the Sharp Aquios display. So here we're looking at it at the shutter speed of 60 frames per second. I'm going to bump it to 1/10,000th of a frame per second, and you notice there's no degradation of the signal quality at all. These two high-def sets also show no degradation. Now, when you see these sets that aren't flickering, what that's telling you is that the pixels in general are always on. So here you see a flickering LED backlight, which is not always on. Now, visibly, if I go to 1/60th of a second, the backlight becomes solid. We're going to go back to 1/10,000th of a second, and you can see the flickering, which is the oscillation of frequencies between 1/10,000th and whatever frequency that's updating at. And here we see a display which is significantly dimmer at 1/10,000th of a second compared to 1/60th of a second. And what that's telling us is that this thing is strobing a bit, so let's zoom in and find out what model this is out of curiosity. This is the lower model. Let's go to a 1/60th of a second so we can actually get some light on this. This is the LG 42-inch 720p Plasma HD TV. So, for what it's worth, that's what the LG looks like at 1/10,000th of a second. What that means, I'm not quite sure yet. Okay, what else do we have here? Got another flickering backlight. Got some other dimmer sets. And this is very interesting here. The visible line. I'm going to go to a lower shutter speed. That's 250, 180, 125, 100, 60. So at 60 the colors look normal, 90, 100, 125, 180, 250, 350, 500, 1000. Now what you're seeing here is a changing colors with the shutter speed. This is the lower item, is a Panasonic 720p Plasma HD TV. What model number? Oh, that should be on tape for the record. And what I think you're seeing here is time division multiplexing on the color. So something like a color wheel, but for a plasma set. It's very interesting. Okay, we're going to go back to 10,000, 1/10,000th of a second and look at some other sets and see what we have. We've got some flickering sets over here. Let's zoom in on those. Here's one. Okay, this one, the Samsung. What model is this? The middle. Here we have a Samsung 40 LNT 4061F, 8 millisecond response time. I'm not sure what that means, but let's go through the frequencies. 60 hertz, 90 hertz, 100 hertz, 125, 180, 250, 350, 500, 725, 1000, 1500, 2000, 3000, 4000, 6000, and then finally 10,000. Okay. Now a lot of these TVs have different modes on them. And I think if we can get in depth with the salesperson later, we're going to look at some of the different modes. This is 10,000th of a second on this Sharp here, which is the upper model, and we're seeing a Sharp model LC32AV22U for $899. With that degree of flicker, let's go through. This is 1000, 725, 500, 350, 250, 180, 125, 100, 90, 60. Okay, so going back to 10,000, here's 10,000, 6,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000. Hi, how you doing? You got a moment?
I'm actually helping somebody right now.
All right, thanks. So just as a calibration, we're going to come over here and look at the CRTs. Now here's a traditional $149 CRT at 1/10,000th of a second. Interesting thing here is for people who think that the Fosters are actually doing the persistence. You can tell here the persistence is done entirely in your visual system. You can see some degree of persistence here, but it's not nearly enough to do the entire image. The image is really in the visual system. So as we go from 10,000, 6,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,500, 1,000, 725, 500, 350, 250, 180, 125, 100, and then 60. And at 60 hertz, we basically have the full image. 90, 60, 90, 60. So you can see the basic nature of difference between these sets. I'm going to go to 60 hertz. This is at 60 hertz. All of these TVs look fantastic, of course. These are all traditional tubes here. Okay. This is really just a calibration to kind of understand what we're talking about here. Okay, so let's go to 10,000 hertz and see what shows up. And yeah, obviously the things that are showing up are the flat panels, as you would expect. So, and I guess an interesting thing is here, this particular set has a little bit more, at 1/10,000th of a second, there's more phosphor persistence in the phosphor itself, as you can see, compared with the other set we looked at earlier. So again, 1/10,000th of a second, and this one has quite a bit of phosphor. All right, so what happened was we just got kicked out of Best Buy for filming without permission. So I guess to get the full report, we're gonna need to call 1-888-BEST-BUY for permission.